Hello and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Of course, I'm your host, Clay, and with me, as she attempts not to die live on stream, is Katie.
Y'all, I'm so sorry. That I just every time we have a show, I'm just dying of a cold or cough or something. I don't know. So if there's awkward pauses and Clay has to edit them out or he just leaves them in, whatever, like just excuse him because it's all me. It's all
My thing is like it's the worst when like winter is fading out and then you just have like the spring flu. That
mm-hmm.
is the worst. I absolutely hate it. Now, I
Yeah.
don't have I don't have any sort of sickness, but allergies are kicking in and my eyes have been so irritated and I've been itching and wiping my eyes constantly all day and I hate it.
Yeah, allergies don't make it any better.
Yeah. But
Unfortunately.
I think today's going to be a little bit of a short episode. There's not a whole lot to talk about.
Dude,
Of
we
course,
said that last week.
yeah, we
And
did, and it ended up being an hour episode. That's but our main points of conversation this week, of course, are Resistance Season 1, as well as our mini review of Star Wars Thrawn Alliances. As far as other news goes, there's not really a whole lot there. We will share one or two things, but that is basically it for this week. So Katie, where do you want to start off?
so first things first. Um, Based on it's basically a lot of comic news, I feel like.
Yep.
Um, so based on the success of the Bad Batch comic, it looks like Dark Horse has decided to greenlight another comic, Hyperspace Stories Tides of Terror, which will be written by George Mann. We love him. We love you, George. And it will star Kit Fisto and feature Mace Windu and Shakti investigating an underwater research facility on the ocean planet Tortoise. The first issue releases July 16th.
I'm just gonna say this. I need more Kit Fisto content.
Yep.
I that's like you had me at Kit Fisto. That's like
My sister loved Kit Fisto. Like when we would always like play Jedi growing up, I was always Mace Windu or Anakin, and she was always Kit Fisto. So she was very excited for this. We love prequel content. And we love that Dark Horse is attempting to get its comic stuff together.
mm-hmm.
Like potentially, maybe question mark. Um, Other bits of comic news: Dr. Aphra, Chaos Agent. That's right, Dr. Aphra is returning to the comic realm. Um, and this ongoing series is going to be written by Cherish Chin. I looked at this article announcement from Collider. I don't know who Cherish is. Do you know who Cherish is?
So Cherish Chen, and I do want to double check this. Um Make sure that I'm spelling it correctly, actually.
While
Uh,
Clay is looking that up, this series will see her team up again with Luke, but this time her signature tattoos don't work. If you don't know anything about Dr. Afra, she has basically what I would call electronic tattoos that kind of make slicing into things a little bit easier. Slicing in the Star Wars realm is basically hacking, like opening up doors, getting into computers, that kind of thing. Um, there is no tell. There was no like reference to where in the timeline this is happening. The assumption is it's going to go hand in hand with Alex Segura's Star Wars run that is taking off in May. So this will be after Return of the Jedi. But again, unknown.
Yes. So Cherish is actually the author of Radiant Red. It's part of the Massive Verse. She has had some other projects, but most recently, this is what I know her from. I'm an ambassador of the Massive Verse comics over at Image. She did a wonderful job in Radiant Red. I think she's going to do a magnificent job with this as well. And I just want to say, I want to see if I can actually bring up the covers here. I love this second cover, this B cover here. I don't know what it is, but like Luke looks good. Afra looks good. I love the colors here. I love the way the green kind of just like really stands out compared to everything else. Like I love this book as far as the way it looks.
The artwork on these covers, I love. Like it's some of the most original looking comic art I think that I've seen. So I'm really excited to see who this artist is. And looking forward to reading this one. Of course, I need to get in and really finish the Dr. Aphra run by Kieran Gillen, and then the run, oh my gosh, what's her name? What's their name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Alyssa Wong.
Yes.
I really need to do those before I get into this, so I will be attempting to make that a priority before this new series comes out.
Now, again, this debuts June 18th, so that means for anyone who wants to read it on Marvel Unlimited, that means that it won't be available until mid-September.
Yep.
Right? July, August, September is the third month. So either late September, early October is probably a better bet on when this will be available. So, but if not, you can always pick it up June 18th.
Yep. I will be keeping up with it on Marvel Unlimited because I'm cheap and buy the troops. As I always say, it's just a fact of life.
Yeah. Well, for the longest time. Well, go ahead.
Especially now with a toddler, buying very thin paper books does not make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, no. Any and all single issues that I am buying, I'm actually keeping at my job. They are not making their way to my house. But also, and again, I've told this story before, it wasn't until Katie reminded me like 2 months ago that I have been paying for Marvel Unlimited for like almost a whole year and a half now. So I have been trying to use that more. We are going to be using it for the Battle of Jakku that we do have planned sometime soon. We do have to talk about that and plan that out. And I just love it. Again, guys, if you do not have a book friend, Katie is my book friend. She, like, I see all these people online on Book Talk and Bookstagram and all this other stuff. They're like, here's my 47 books I read this month. Let me walk through it with you. And I'm just like, God damn, how? I even tried to map out, because again, I'm on this whole book spree thing, mapping out, hey, how many books can I attempt to read at the same time in one whole month? And like, currently, I finished Thrawn, so technically I'm down to 2. So I can add another one. But I do know that Thrawn Treason is just right there, and we're going to have to talk about it soon. So I know I have to jump into it. And I'm just like, I don't think I could be comfortable enough to go past 3.
You have to. It's reading different genres. So like, so typically I have at least 3 going at once: an audiobook, an
Mhm.
ebook, and then a physical book.
Okay. Okay. So
And
that's
then, like, typically I have a romance, a fantasy, a Star Wars, a comic, and then maybe like a mystery, because my family book club, they like to read a lot of mysteries, and I'm not allowed to suggest fantasy because that's just unrealistic. I don't know. Just kidding.
well, see, I have the next 2 books that are on my list
Mhm.
is All Systems Red, aka the Murderbot Diaries, which is going to be turning into an Apple TV Plus show.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to get another novella, another short book, and I picked up yesterday. This is How to Lose a Time War.
Okay.
I can't remember who wrote that one. I'll have to double check. But I'm like, okay, if I keep picking up small books, I think I can get this down. But all the books that I want, all the books that like catch my eye at the store, they're like freaking this thick. Like why? People, it's okay to write a book that's less than 500 pages.
I think that's ultimately a failing in consumerism at the moment, because publishers are like, oh, we just need the next big thing. We need the next big thing to go viral. So people are like, oh, okay, we have to publish things as soon as possible. So they're cutting out edits. Like a lot of times, like those lengthy dialogues, descriptions, they would be cut out in the editing process for a cleaner book. But like Iron Flame with Fourth Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Flame is the second book in the series. Fourth Wing went viral
Yeah.
and it caught way more attention. So Rebecca Yarros had to do a lot more publicity, and like she didn't get a chance to like take a break. And so they wanted Iron Flame out ASAP. Iron Flame is not as cleanly edited
Clean.
as
Yeah.
Fourth Wing. Like it doesn't, like it's not even like clean in a sense. Like yeah, that's what like we're talking about in this instance. But there's like things where you're like, like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And there's plot holes that came up in Iron Flame that people are so insistent that they're plot holes. And I say they're plot holes, but you could like also explain them as like she's future planning, like an Easter egg here.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, oh, that was a plot hole that got missed in editing. And so now she's just kind of picking it up and running with it.
Guys, you see this? I'm picking up Thrawn Alliances right now. Paperback. That is a nice sized book.
Yes, it is.
Now, I don't know what this was like in hardcover. Of course, I believe.
You want me to show you?
I was gonna say, of course, Katie's gonna show off here real quick. She's just gonna be like, "Hey."
It's not showing off. It's a collection. I spent months digging these guys down.
Oh, wait. What is the... It's just a white book? Nothing on the...
I take the dust jackets
you
off.
take the dust jackets off. That's right. Was it the same cover? I'm curious.
It was the same cover.
I've seen people do like fan edits of Anakin being in the place of Darth Vader. I don't like it. It looks weird.
That was not a fan edit. That was actually, I think, a celebration cover.
What?
Yeah.
Thrawn,
do you want to see book 3 of the Thrawn prequel trilogy?
Sure. Let me see while I'm looking this up. Wait, is this this isn't Ascendancies, is it?
Yes, this is book 3 of the Ascendancies.
That's right. Yeah. I have that book.
Oh yeah, I sent it to you.
You gave it to me.
because
it was damaged.
It was damaged. So yeah. That's like Alliances and book 3 side by side.
I mean, so yeah, it's a little bit thicker, but like,
oh no, it is thicker.
my thing is, and I guess this can kind of take us into, well, actually, I think we have a little bit more.
Yeah, we have more news.
I will say this. Also, want to share this small piece of news because I don't think it's much of anything. Because I don't know when we will ever get to it due to our weird Legends scheduling as far as reviews. But I will say this. This is a gorgeous cover. I don't care what anybody says about it. I am showing currently on our live stream Star Wars Shadows of the Empire by Steve Perry. The Essential
This is
Legends
such
Collection.
a good book, by the way. This is
I never knew this as a book. Do you know how I knew this of? They made a video game of Shadows of the Empire. I don't know what his name is, but the dude that has like this brown like shoulder vest thing, he's the main character of that game.
Okay.
And that's all like whenever I hear Shadows of the Empire, I immediately think of Nintendo 64. Like, so when I saw this, I like immediately gravitated towards it because like, oh, I didn't know it was a book. Yeah. Seeing this now, this is a gorgeous cover.
Yeah, and somebody had asked if it was AI. I believe Random House World said it's not AI, but I haven't seen the artist listed for it, but it's really beautiful. And it has been a while since I've read this book. But it really is a killer book, y'all. It's got Boba Fett. It's got like, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. I know he's a prince, but like Xander or something, the green skinned guy in the background. I love him as a villain. I know that might be like cliche, but he's a really good villain in my opinion. So if you're interested in this book, this is definitely the time to pick it up for sure.
I will be looking out for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go ahead and take this time to shout out bookshop.org, people. I'm not going to tell you to stop going to Barnes & Noble because then I would be a hypocrite. But I will tell you to stop going to Amazon. I know it's convenient. I know everything else. But bookshop.org, you sign up. It basically ties your account to the closest, or you can choose the closest bookstore, brick and mortar bookstore in your area. You pre-order books, they will get to you as quickly as possible. And I still haven't done this yet because I will admit I have 2 audiobooks on Audible that I really want to listen to before I completely give up Audible. But Libro.fm has audiobooks as well. And the subscription to Libro.fm, every single month, that money goes directly to the bookshop of choice that you chose for bookshop.com. So that's something I'm going to be doing in the future. I'm going to lose all of my High Republic books from Audible, which is really sad, but I'm going to try to get them back with this Libro.fm account.
So you should be able to download them. We can talk about that afterwards. But you should be able to download the audio files because I've done that. And like put them into like my Apple Music and stuff.
Then I will definitely want to talk to you after this. But yeah, so for all of your Essential Legends stuff, all of the future High Republic books, we only have 3 more left, as well as any and all future Star Wars books. Support some local businesses, people. That is it for the book news, I do believe.
Yes, that is it.
And currently, well, I do want to bring up this before we get on to the trailer for Andor, you shared this little thing on, I believe, Instagram. Analytics show that the Acolyte is still high in demands. Fans push for a renewal. We have said this time and time again. People like new content. That's a given.
Yep.
People like new things in Star Wars. Do you know what proves that? The Acolytes and the Skeleton Crew. People were really excited every single week for Skeleton Crew. It is the two most different shows to come out on Disney Plus. And I just don't see what, well, I do see why. I do see why, unfortunately. But in the hilariously successful, by the way that the MCU is going back on some decisions and it working.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that today as the time we were recording this. They should go back, and when I say they, I mean Disney, should go back on their decision of the Acolyte. I will say that until I'm blue in the face.
Same here.
Because it
really worked as a show. And sometimes you have to spend money to make money. And this show was filmed in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a strike. Like, yes, okay, they paid assistants and made sure that they had living expenses while the show was put on pause. Oh my gosh. You paid people and enabled them to have benefits and stuff. Like,
yeah, and that's why I say, like, I know the reason why. I know why some of the most idiotic decisions are made in Hollywood. It's just, it baffles me every single time I see a decision like this made. And it's just like, because we've said it here more than once. I know that I've said it here more than once. I'm tired of seeing the same song and dance. I don't want to see the same thing over and over and over again.
Yep.
And there's just a really weird corner of this fandom that just thinks Star Wars is episode 4 and that is it. And I just don't understand why.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, at the end of the day, like, we want to grow with our content and not see the same thing over and over again. You and I have said that a bazillion times, like we said, so we're not going to beat a dead horse over here. But we do think the Acolyte deserves a second chance and a story.
Yes. Now, I will be sharing this on our screen, but I will not be putting it at full screen. I will keep it here in this small little bubble. Andor second trailer. Katie, you reminded me that I still needed to watch this. I watched this literally moments before we went live. Katie, how do you feel about this second trailer?
I love this trailer.
You do? Okay, tell me about it. Why?
Why
do you love it?
Mon Mothma in particular, like, her getting to see her speech or like bits of her speech is like killer. But also seeing our characters in like this moment on Dantooine where they're like eating and like chilling and eating lunch, but then you have like, oh crap, the Empire's here. K2SO, I'm assuming, beating up a guy. Like Krennic with the Death Star, that scene. And then
Yep, Deidre, we're gonna talk about it. Let me actually get back to it.
Do you think she's getting force choked or is she having a panic attack? My vote is panic attack.
Evolution is not for the.
So that is the big question. Okay? That is the big question. I've seen a lot of different people trying to make, and people hate watch even the trailers, which I think is dumb, but they're like, oh, is this going to be another one of those moments where they're forced to put Darth Vader in the long hallway just so that way people can get excited about Andor? Shut up. People were excited about Andor before this. The idea of her being force choked worries me a little bit. I don't think that Darth Vader needs to show up because that was never what the first season, like, I didn't watch season 1 expecting Darth Vader.
Darth Vader doesn't need to be in everything. He doesn't.
I totally agree.
Tony Gilroy makes a very good Star Wars, and he has like been in interviews and is like, this is probably the most important thing that I will ever make. And it's all in the political commentary. And the idea here is that there's always bigger fish, basically. You don't need to see the bigger fish to make it happen. The bigger fish is in the Death Star being present, is in Krennic being here, like, is in Mon Mothma's speech, where presumably, like we have, like, the Senate and, like, Palpatine potentially listening in. We don't need the hand of the Sith here, like, manipulating things. Like,
yeah, and that's
she can have a panic attack.
The idea, like you said, the bigger fish is the Death Star's presence. Season 1, we didn't see the Death Star until the very last scene. The last frame of season 1 was the reveal of the Death Star. Here, we see a little bit of it because now we see the progression of time. We see how much the Death Star has been made. That's all you need. That threat. Because we know that the whole reason for Andor as a show is to get us to that first scene with Cassian in Rogue One. We know that that's the whole reason why this show exists, is to show the evolution of Cassian, to show how, like, the crazy decisions that he will probably be making in this season, right? So
sorry, I said yes and I was muted.
When it was first presented to me that she could have a panic attack, I was like, okay. But then the second person showed a really cool GIF that they had made, which in season 1, she adjusts her collar ever so slightly, and then the GIF immediately turns into this scene where she's like trying to like get the collar off.
And those collars are very high on a uniform, and like they look like a Marine collar, which is intentionally very high because it's supposed to like indicate like armor and stuff. But armor is also very suffocating. And in this instance, if you are panicking about something, wouldn't you want to remove the chokehold?
Yeah,
to breathe.
You want to breathe. And I want it to be the panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because a part of me wants to see people get angry that like, oh man, it wasn't Darth Vader. Bah! But like, I know if it is a panic attack, look at her expression right now. She's going to sell the hell out of that freaking scene.
Yep.
I want to see that scene.
100%. Like, and you can say, oh, well, Darth Vader was in Rogue One. Rogue One was also going to theaters where they had the potential to make bukus of money.
Yep.
There is no money-making business in this. Like, we know Disney is constantly losing money on Disney Plus. Like, there's no reason to put Darth Vader in here to bring more people to see the show.
And there's still the conversations of like, are we getting Mando season 4? Are we not getting Mando season 4? Is that what the movie's there for? Are we gonna get anything after Ahsoka season 2? Like, the future of Star Wars television is literally unknown.
Correct.
So we can assume by default, like, hey, there's nothing to lose in making just a quote unquote normal political Star Wars story without the use of lightsabers. From time to time, we have made the comment, oh, these Star Wars shows have the Star Wars or have the lightsaber problem. This show is not one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it is going to be a very interesting conversation, to say the least. But I really like this trailer.
Yeah.
I like how it starts off slow. The beginning of this trailer is very slow. It's very somber. But as like up to the moment where you see Cassian fly out of that hangar, it just starts to build up and up and up and up and up. And that, I think, is very much telling of how the season's going to be.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of those low moments in the very beginning of the season. And then once that second week hits, weeks 3 and 4, it's all going to crash. Like, it's not in the sense of being bad, but I mean, like, we've hit the pinnacle and now we get to see how everything kind of goes to shit for both sides of this war. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited. We have a little under a month before we get there. So we'll see. We shall see indeed.
I'm very excited.
The next thing, well, really the only thing we have left on the news cycle is Ahsoka season 2.
Has seemingly started filming.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we have Celebration in 3 weeks. So why would you start filming right now?
I know why. Because you film somewhat close to Celebration. And then you legit just fly them to Celebration to be like, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, especially when Ahsoka has a panel all dedicated to itself, and is one of the main ticket items. I'm interested to see what'll come of this.
I will be interested to see, because again, we've seen a lot of rumors, and we've also seen the lack thereof rumors. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've seen less rumors than we did season 1 before that started filming. Do we get the heavily rumored Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Clone Wars flashback?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, from what I remember, this was a fully shot volume production. So no set photos leaked. Do they go the same route? Do you think that's the way they do it?
I think they said they were using the volume a lot less. This season is what the rumor has been. So I think we'll see more leaks. I don't know necessarily what for.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm excited.
Same here.
Very, very excited.
We won't get it until 2027, but
I mean, we are going to have plenty of content between then. I mean, we have Vision Season 3 to look, theoretically.
Yeah.
Yes, theoretically. We have Visions Season 3 to look forward to. We have
Vision Season 3.
Vision Season 3.
Mandalorian and Grogu in 2026.
Yes, Mandalorian Grogu. And I mean Sean Levy's movie.
Probably
don't
not
know.
coming out before 2027.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably not getting that until 27. So who knows? We'll see.
Plenty of content.
Yeah. And guys, we know I say that more in the sense of Katie and I will have more content with more and more books to read.
Books. We always have books.
Yes. All right. So Katie,
Resistance.
Let's go ahead and talk Resistance. This was my first time watching this show. Was this your first time watching this show?
No, I think this is like my 7th time through it because I watched it for the first time and then we've tried to review it, I think, 2 other times before this.
Yeah.
And we ended up skipping it. So I had watched it for all those occasions and then like my sister wanted to watch it and stuff. So yes, I've watched this before. So for those of you who are unaware, Resistance is the sequel trilogy animated TV show that was created by Dave Filoni and was executive produced by Dave Filoni. It only ran for 2 seasons for a total of 40 episodes. Season 1 takes place primarily before The Force Awakens and ends with the Hosnian system getting blown up and General Hux's speech and everything. That takes place in the second to last episode of the season, or part 1 of the final episode of the season. And then episode 2 takes place, or episode 2, season 2 takes place during The Last Jedi, and up to the lead up to The Rise of Skywalker. So that's kind of your time reference associated with the show. It has a very different animation style. How did you feel about the animation style?
I did not like it at first. At first, I felt that it was a little weird. Especially when we are looking at Poe Dameron's character specifically. For some reason, Poe Dameron's character looks like he has one honker of a nose in this animation style. When you look at Poe Dameron, I don't think he has that bad of a looking nose, but it is so intensely profound in this animation style for some stupid reason. But this isn't an actual like impersonator. This is actually the man himself.
Yes, in
Oscar
season
Isaac.
1, Oscar Isaac portrays Poe Dameron. And in season 2, because I do believe he's in season 2. Yeah, so Captain Phasma is voiced by Gwendolyn Christie in season 1, and season 2 is different. Domhnall Gleeson portrays General Hux in season 1, does not portray him in season 2.
Basically, what ends up happening is they realize how big their name is, and then they're like, hey, we want more money. And then Disney was like, hey, we can replace you.
Yeah.
So, and more so, we can replace your voice. So that's why I can see there being a huge change in making for their voices there.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at it. I don't think Poe is actually in season 2. Yeah, he's not in season 2. It was just Phasma, which
Okay.
makes sense because with season 2 taking place over The Last Jedi, Poe's a little busy. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. But we're here to talk about season 1.
Yes. So my question to you is, how did you feel about this cast of characters?
So, I find the cast of characters generally a little frustrating. I really enjoy Yeager. I think Yeager is the brusque character that is desperately needed in the show. Everybody else is just a little too goofy. Um, and I know everybody thinks animation's supposed to be for kids. I feel like this is like the first time Disney like takes that legitimately serious.
I was gonna say now here they stay true to Star Wars. They
Yes.
still make this a political show in I think the most bottom of the barrel way that you can, with it still
Mhm.
being Star Wars. But when you look at the story, you look at the story beats, you look at uh the moments of uh comedic timing and all of these other things, this does feel like it is quote unquote a little bit of a downgrade compared to that of Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yep. And Resistance still has people who genuinely love it. And people have been trying because a lot of people have said Resistance was originally greenlit for 3 seasons, very standard to Star Wars, and kind of figuring things out for these shows. But it got cut off very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh so it has a lot of fans in that regard. And you'll see like Resistance Remembered. And people have been like trying to figure out why it never got like DVD releases and whatnot. So it still has fans, and I'm not saying it's a bad show. Just compared to other animated shows, even Bad Batch season 1, like I would say this is probably my least favorite one of the bunch. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind that Kaz is very naive and tends to have a lot of stuff go wrong for him. What I do mind is I feel like he's just one of many characters that are a little naive or still trying to figure things out. Namely, Niku, because I feel like Nikto characters in Star Wars aren't as literal as he is, and he seems very like I don't know the word, but he's very serious, but it makes fun of being serious and like taking things literally. Tora, another character that feels just a little too naive along with Kaz. So I feel like having all three of them involved in that way lessens how the show ultimately feels,
Mm-hmm.
um as far as being able to take the show seriously.
Yep. I agree. Um, I got really annoyed with Kaz very early on with the show. Because there is this uh ignorance kind of thing with him. He is a nepo baby, so like
Mhm.
there's this whole idea of like, oh, has he really earned the things that he's done? But that's one thing that I actually do really like about his character, is that like he talks all this mentioned about like wanting to be a spy, and he's so excited to kind of, you know, have this thing fall into his lap or whatever. But like, he was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like he like is a legitimate nepo baby that just doesn't
Yeah.
sit around and do anything. He actually has some sort of effort in the resistance. So
And
I
like
really like that.
yeah, and he impresses Poe without Poe knowing who he was at all, like
Hmm.
with his flying capabilities. So he has the talent, and clearly, like, he goes to ask his father's permission, which we have seen his father before. This is his first appearance, Senator Ziono, but the senator has also been in The Mandalorian, and I believe he was also in Ahsoka. Um,
Yes, he was.
so um he's making appearances, they're making connections. Um
Although in season 1 of Resistance, you never see him.
Correct, you just hear the voice.
Yeah.
So fair points, fair points. But like he goes to ask his father for permission in that instance, and his father's like, "Oh, you just want something else from me?" And Kaz is like, "No, I don't. Like, I don't need your permission to go do this," because that's basically what he was looking for. Is, hey, you're a senator in the New Republic. I want to go help the resistance. Can I do that? Yes or no? And we all know what happens. Let me turn on my overhead light because I am darkening very fast.
So I really dug the way that Kaz and BB-8 had this relationship, but I really love the moment that Poe comes into any episode. BB-8's like, "Peace out, dude. That's my
Yeah.
human," which I think is actually really hilarious. But one thing that I really enjoyed about this season was, oh crap, I forget his name. The guy that's in charge of the entire base on that
Doza.
planet. Yes. He has a little bit of a background. He is a ex
Imperial.
Imperial. Yeah. Um and it's like it's really awkward because like the moment you see it, it's he and the reason why you even find out is like Kaz decides to hide in his office when he's trying to, you know, be a spy. Um, and you just see the old uniform. And it
No.
like it kind of makes you feel like a little icky. It's like, why would you keep it? You know? Like
Mm-hmm.
like if you're wanting to move forward, is it just like to remind you of what could still be, or like what I like it just feels kind of
Yeah.
weird. But overall, he for the most part is legitimately making the right decisions, not only for his daughter but for everybody there. Like he
Mm-hmm.
wants to make those right decisions. Mike, another question that I had for you is, we actually got some force sensitive individuals on this show. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Who do you think is force sensitive?
The children.
So I don't think they're technically force sensitive.
What? They
Yeah.
make like there's some decision making that they have. And I'm pretty sure, like whether it be like force insight or something that like is kind of on the nose, that like makes it in a way obvious that they're force sensitive. Do you not think that they are?
Okay, so Wikipedia, I didn't think there were. Wikipedia has Isla, the sister, as a force-sensitive human female.
Yeah.
Kel is not listed as force-sensitive.
Okay, so the brother is not, but she is.
Yeah,
That
and I
makes
think
sense.
so. I think the basis of the basis for her force sensitivity is the dreams that she has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like in the Bebo episode, she has dreams about Bebo's mother coming to the station. Um, and so that appears to be their only reference for her force sensitivity is the dreams.
Okay.
Um, you learn more about them in the second season, so I don't want to dive too far into them.
Okay. Okay. I have not seen a single episode of the second season
Correct.
because
We
I was
haven't gotten
wait. I
that
was yeah. I was waiting until we actually
far.
move forward, so that way it would be fresh on my mind when we talk
Yeah,
about it.
and I don't remember. I just was looking them up because they're from the planet Tehar. And so I was looking up Tehar and it comes back into play in the second season. So that's like my only memory because it's been a while since I've seen season 2. So
Yeah, but I do like this show also for not having a lot of filler.
mhm.
Um, I think mostly every episode is somewhat connected. They make progress throughout the show in the sense of the story moves forward. Um,
The characters
and
are built out.
yeah, yeah. Um, there, there is, and I feel like, well, not that I feel, I hope that there's more fleshed out for Jaeger in season 2. But I feel like the one episode that he got with his brother, I think it was it his brother or was it just like an old friend? I can't remember exactly.
I do think it is his brother.
Yeah.
Um,
Where they do like the small little race or whatever.
mm.
Um I do hope that we get more into his backstory from what we have already gotten.
I remember the episode. I think Disney Plus did something funny because I finished episode 8 last night and then I put episode 9 on. I played it and I think it skipped the episode that you're talking about. But I remember the episode. It did
Okay.
something funny where it was like I think it picked up on episode 10 instead of episode 9 when I was
Oh, strange.
playing through. So because I was like, I know that episode was in here. So yeah, I did not get to that episode because it was doing funny things.
But
Uh,
how did you feel about, or do you think they did enough in, at least in season 1? Again, haven't seen season 2, so I can't really ask for it. But how did you feel about season 1 giving you those little breadcrumbs for what is to become in The Force Awakens and the rest of the sequel trilogy?
I really like how that's fleshed out and how. Sorry, I left my phone volume on. Apparently, I like how they fleshed it out and involving Poe in. Like, I haven't read the Poe comic that's on Marvel Unlimited, but now I'm like, kind of want to go in and read that just to kind of see if that comic plays off these episodes any. Knowing Soul, there's potential there for what he could potentially have pulled in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I kind of really dig it. Now, I think some of like the stuff with Phasma, and I know the speech from Hux is like dialogue pulled from the movie. Like there's no like additional at least Hux is pulled from the movie, if not Gwendolyn Christie stuff.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see how much they actually filmed, because I feel like if Christie was involved a lot more, I feel like that could build a lot up, because I just have Delilah Dawson's Phasma novel in my head, and I just love the depth that her character gets in that. That doesn't answer your question. I kind of went on a tangent, but
It's all good. It's all good. Well, because I can't remember what they named the weapon in Force Awakens.
Star Killer.
The Star Killer. You get the small inklings of that in season 1 of Resistance. And I think that is very smart. Like, even if you're like a young kid that is starting to pick up things like context clues, and you've seen The Force Awakens, you watch some of these episodes, you're like, oh my gosh, that's the thing from the other movie, you know? And I think that's really great. I think it's really fun when in a universe like Star Wars, you can do these things and actually have somewhat of consequences, because you can play off of what's to come in the future.
Yep.
So I really do like that. I see if I have any other questions or any comments towards this. I mean, we've talked about Kaz. I think that, of course, this is his show. So he has the most character development. And I think that's one thing I will say. The other characters don't have enough development. They're kind of just the characters that they are.
And
And
that's
they're just
why
around.
And that's why you need multiple seasons, because I feel like in season 1 of Rebels, your story is mostly focused on Ezra. But as you get on into further seasons, the rest of the Rebels crew is able to be fleshed out a little bit more. But in this case, you spend most of season 1 trying to get just a basis for your character overall. And that character, you have to pick and choose, and that has to be Kaz in this instance. You do get more time with the other characters in season 2, but it's just you're limited by having to build a basis for the story and fleshing out the Colossus also. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. But you got anything else to add for
I do not.
Resistance season 1?
I think it's an okay show. There's definitely some high points. But I just don't want to dwell on the negative feels.
And
So
like we always say, it is okay to just be okay. So,
correct.
our next point of conversation in this episode that we said was not going to be a very long episode, we are rounding up to the 1 hour mark. Star Wars Thrawn Alliances.
I forgot how much I love this book.
Adrian and Katie told me that if I liked Star Wars Thrawn, then I will absolutely love Thrawn Alliances. And guys, I was prepared for this. My entire time reading, I kept a Batman bookmark, because I can't believe I'm saying this, but when I read Thrawn and his thought process, I think of Batman. That shouldn't make any sense. Thrawn is a bad guy. I should not be thinking of Batman when I think of Thrawn. And that's exactly what I think of when I read this book. When I read the way that Thrawn thinks, he moves, Every single step has purpose. Guys, am I a Thrawn fan? I don't know how I feel about this. First, I want to say RIP to every single, so far, female perspective with Timothy Zahn, because unfortunately, the only story that I was not hugely like I wasn't chomping at the bit to like finish her story because I wanted to know the rest of her story or her part of the story was Padme's part. And like they connected it very well. It got to a point where they, got to the climax of the movie and they're like, okay, everybody's together and we're going to see how they get out of this. But like every single time it became Padme's part of the book, I was just like, okay, this is important. Let's get through this. I'm reading it. And I don't know if it's because Timothy Zahn doesn't know how to write these characters, or if it was just him saying, hey, this is our bridge to get where we need to go between the future and past of Darth Vader and Thrawn and Anakin and Thrawn.
I think he does a little bit better with the female perspectives when it's characters he could be more flexible with. But Padme is, by definition, not a very flexible character.
True.
So Zahn writes his characters a very specific way with a fluid. Okay, I can't really say fluid dialogue because it's very robotic, and that lends itself very well to Thrawn's character because the Chiss species are very robotic in nature, and then you have Vader who does very well at being a robot because he's mostly robot. Anakin is kind of getting in that direction because this is after Ahsoka has left the Order. This takes place in like the 6-month period when she's completely gone from his life and everything. So he's kind of having to deal with that. And for most of the book, he doesn't have Padme. He's worried about Padme. So that automatically brings out the I have no emotions Anakin because he doesn't know what to do with himself because he's worried about losing somebody in his life.
There was a moment near the end of this book where I thought Anakin was lying to Padme.
Which moment?
Blowing up the caves.
Mm-hmm.
The moment everything starts going to shit, Padme's like, what's going on? And then that one guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Lebjow. He's like, that's my planet. What are you doing to my planet? And Anakin's like, I don't know. I just blew up a cave. I'm like, Anakin, that's a really bad lie. Like, that is like, you're not fooling anybody. You just went on a rant about how we should probably destroy the factory and all this other stuff. That's a really bad lie. Stop lying. But then, of course, it goes into the conversation of the cortosis and how it deflects energy and all of this other stuff. So I was like, wow, it actually saved you. So you're not lying. Cool. But, Katie, this book was almost 5 stars.
Almost. Is it because of the time skipping around?
No.
Oh.
It is literally, let me actually look into how many pages that they were nearly perfect. Okay. It was less than a page and a half at the end of the book. This is literally the last 2 pages. Literally it is the 3rd paragraph to the end is where they
What is
lost me.
it?
When Vader begins to basically tell Thrawn, "Oh, you have an amazing ship, by the way. That TIE Defender is great. Like it needs to be faster. It needs to have more guns, but it's a great ship." I'm like, that's Anakin talking. That's not Darth Vader. And I am upset. I am so upset at that moment. And it's immediately after they have the conversation. Because again, I knew more so because people told me. I'm pretty sure that Katie accidentally told me at one point of talking about Legends books. Well, just about Thrawn's relationship with Anakin, is that, and because I've read Star Wars Thrawn, that I knew Thrawn was going to figure it out. I knew Thrawn was going to put 2 and 2 together. Hey, there's Vader. There's Anakin. I fought with Anakin before. I'm fighting with Darth Vader now. I knew that there was going to be a moment where Thrawn would subtly have a aha moment. It wasn't even that, guys. It wasn't even that. It felt like he knew the entire time. And he just he made one offhand comment. Just one. And Darth Vader was like, bitch, Anakin is dead. Okay? Anakin is dead. And I love how there was moments in the book where Thrawn was like, oh, that's right, he's dead. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. But at the end of the book, when Vader basically says, this is the last time you're going to speak that name, Anakin is dead. And Thrawn says, I know. He gives Vader the vindication. He says, hey, I know who you were, but I know who you are now. Mm-hmm. Is basically what Thrawn was saying. I like it. That progression, it's that small little storytelling within the bigger story that I really dug there. I really did like it. I love the almost on the spectrum type of thinking and no emotions Thrawn, where he's like, I have a mission. The man's a freaking robot. He's an android. That's what he is. He's like, I have a mission. Hey, this is the most logical sense I have ever sensed before in my life. Why is nobody ever thinking about this stuff? But in a weird way, again, you're not supposed to root for the bad guy, but for some reason in this damn book, you're rooting for the bad guy. There is a is it a commander? I can't remember who.
The stormtrooper guy?
No. Not Keemond. The female, the one that is basically
Commodore Pharaoh.
Yes, Commodore. Pharaoh. Pharaoh? Is it Farah?
I think it's Pharaoh.
Okay. He's teaching her and giving her these weird pats on the back, but not pats on the back. It's she acknowledged that he is acknowledging her, and oh, just by the expression, I know that I'm doing a good job, and this is how we do things. And I'm like, this is exactly what he did in the first book. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, hey, did you see this? Oh, hey, what did you think of this? This was on a much smoother level, I think, because we got to see Farah. Well, Farah was actually like, she was talking it out. It wasn't Thrawn saying, hey, what do you think's going on here? She was kind of getting it as he was. And that was like a treat within itself for them.
Yeah, because you have that where she learned in Thrawn, like, hey, I'm okay to talk things out with Thrawn. Like, he's not going to yell at me if I speak my mind on something and stuff. So she's already made that progression into, okay, we're good here. Like, I'm good. I can talk this out and learn in the moment.
Mm-hmm. My question to you, and I guess you, well, I do want to know, but I don't want to know because you've read all these.
Yes, but it's been a while since I had read all these.
Okay, so the big twist in this book, and I also love that. It's like the only way Thrawn can kick Vader in the nuts for the entire book is like, I know something you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. I know something you don't know. And you're not going to like it. The Chiss children. The Force-sensitive Chiss children.
The Skywalkers.
Yeah. That is what I was going to say. What the hell?
Yes.
What is that about? Do we learn more?
You do learn more. They are decently present in the next book, but Zahn goes ham into them in the prequel trilogy.
With the Thrawn
Ascendancy. Yeah.
I told myself that I wasn't gonna get sucked in to this whole Thrawn freaking fandom because I thought it was stupid. God damn it.
But like, so this is the Thrawn that I see in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, but I see it's the same Thrawn, but in this perspective, you're getting the Empire's perspective, but Heir to the Empire, you're getting the Republic's perspective.
But also, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. This Thrawn in this book is not the Thrawn in Ahsoka.
Correct. It pisses me off.
I don't like it. I don't
know. I don't know how you go, hey, I'm going to bring in Zahn to character consult on the live action interpretation of Thrawn. And you can say Thrawn has been jaded from being in another galaxy for years or whatever. You can say that, but like, you don't change that much as a character. Like,
not only that, but like, I knew because we talked about it. There was a lot of reactions for it. But the moment you see Thrawn's reaction to Ahsoka being a Padawan of Anakin Skywalker, I am now remembering that scene wasn't enough. There wasn't enough meat and potatoes, as I like to say, in that scene when we now know the kind of past that Anakin and Thrawn had. Not only that, the kind of past that Thrawn and Vader had, because Thrawn knows who Vader is. That is what I'm starting to get pissed off about.
And that Thrawn doesn't teach. He intentionally wastes lives. Like, when they are taking off and one of the Night Sisters is like, well, what about Balin? And he's like, so fuck him. Like, basically, is what he's like. But that Thrawn does not exist in this book.
Yeah, no, like, if anything, in Ahsoka, I feel like we should have known. And again, the thing is, with it being Ahsoka, we can be seeing the other side, right? We could very much be seeing the fact that he is just a villain. He is not the person that we are glorifying him to be in the Thrawn trilogy, right? So I could see it being that. You could make an easy argument for that, but I think it's a lazy argument.
It's a very lazy argument. And it's Filoni basically going, hey, this character is well beloved. It's going to hit the ideological fanboy, aka like the idiots of the Star Wars fans, in quotes. But it's also going to give me the opportunity to continue using the character that I love, which is Ahsoka. It's lazy writing, and it's why he shouldn't be in charge of Lucasfilm.
Yes. 100%. I agree with you. But what I was saying is that, like, even in Ahsoka, we should have seen more of the chess game that he was playing. And we didn't get any of that. Like you were saying, he used people as the diversion, as the way to escape, to be that new emperor or whatever, you know? And
but
I just like...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The new emperor is never what Thrawn wanted to be. He's never wanted to be in charge. He wanted to take care of his people.
Yeah.
And make sure everybody gets out alive. He wants peace, but he doesn't want it the Chiss way, which in the Ascendancy trilogy you learn more about that perspective, about the, hey, we don't attack first kind of thing.
And I love that part. I love that back and forth in this book. The entire time. Self-conscious fucking Vader, which who would have thought that would ever come out of anybody's mouth? Mm-hmm. Oh, he spoke to the boss without me. Oh, I don't know what they were they talking about me? Is he trying to replace me? Oh no. Blah, 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 blah. But there's this constant back and forth between Vader and Thrawn throughout this entire book. Oh, so you're a traitor. Oh, so you were just looking out for yourself. Oh, you're looking to replace me. Oh, you want my job? Like, back and forth and back and forth. And Thrawn is like, dude, I don't want anything from you. My entire job is to serve the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
But my mission is to protect my people. And
I can protect the Empire and my people at the same time.
And Vader got pissed off about it. He was like, oh, vindication. I can finally kill him because he basically admitted to treason. And Thrawn was like, you saw me just do both.
Yeah.
I can do both. I will always be in the best interest of the Empire, but it will not be without protecting my people. And I was like, God damn. It was good. I really liked it. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. One thing did irk me in the beginning of the story that I wasn't entirely sure how I would feel about it. And I kind of got used to it. But like the way that Zahn wrote Anakin and eventually Vader with like the inner thoughts of when he was using his lightsaber, the double vision, and like concentrating on his next movements, I felt like it was trying to be too much like Thrawn in the moment, and I didn't really feel that, but I was just like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing for the character. We'll
yeah. So that it was basically setting up for when Vader does the skywalking at the end, because that's what skywalking is. It's precognition of what's about to happen next. So Vader doing that and Anakin doing that, like, you have to articulate that on a page somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to do that was like, hey, here's what this guy's about to do. And it's not something that we've seen Anakin really do before, but we also haven't really gotten a whole lot from Anakin's perspective, because the Clone Wars is from Ahsoka and the clones' perspective. And then the comics that we've gotten have all been from Obi-Wan's perspective. So really, I would consider this like the first time you get Anakin's perspective in a book.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I enjoyed it.
Huzzah.
It's very weird because I own Thrawn in Audible form. I own Thrawn Alliances in physical book form. I'm gonna have to go buy Thrawn and go find Treason. I don't know where it sits in our current schedule.
I think Treason we are going to be covering in a couple of weeks with
In
our
April,
bracket
yes.
draft.
2 weeks before. Oh, by the way, that's a little bit of a tease for you guys if you didn't hear what Katie just said.
I came up with an original podcast idea, which isn't really original because it's been done before, but it's original
for us. Original for us. It's gonna be fun. I hope everybody really enjoys it. We're planning a lot on it. But yeah, so it looks like when the episode drops, it'll be on April 17th. So 2 weeks before the premiere of Andor, we will be talking about Treason. So currently, I have basically a week to get a hold of the book and actually start reading it. Because
we are doing a lot of reading in April.
Yeah, we are. Now, I will say, let's see here. Looking at the timeline of when I actually grabbed this book, by the way, I got this book March 16th. I finished this book in 10 days. That might be a
record.
The quickest I have finished. Oh no, hold on. I wouldn't say that's the quickest. That's close to the quickest. Because I think some of the other audiobooks that I've read for like The Force Unleashed and everything else, like I did in like 3 days, but it was more listening. This is actually like sitting down and reading, and then also that was the thing. I did this. I used 2 different forms to read this. I read like the first half physically, and then the middle of the book I used an audiobook, and then I read like 5 chapters physically, and then I read the rest in audio form. Like it was very weird how I decided to read this book.
That's impressive.
But it worked, and I actually enjoyed it. So we'll see how Treason goes. I will probably pick it up this weekend. Payday. Woohoo! And hopefully Abby doesn't get mad at me probably getting 1 or 2 other books. So yeah, so with that, guys, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, joining us live as y'all do, and listening to the podcast.
Yes.
If you want to follow me and my book journey, you can follow me on Instagram. And if you guys still have the app, on TikTok, I will be adding some questions about recommendations as far as books go there. If you like comics and would like to follow me on my journey through the comic book industry with my job, follow me on Blue Sky, because that's primarily where I am there, following all the people that I work with. So yeah, along with Ranger Alliance, of course, another part of the GUA. Jake and I recently dropped another episode. We are back on a normal schedule. Japan takes some days off with yearly shows like this. This show is 50 plus weeks, sometimes 40 plus weeks because of the amount of times they take off. But it's year round, so they do take a week off from time to time. We are back with a new episode this week, so go check that out. And yeah, Katie, but what about you?
Y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms as at Slice of Katie. Most of the time, it's story posts on Instagram, which could either be about Mara or my crochet or coffee, because I drink a lot of coffee right now. So, next week, y'all, we will be talking some predictions for Star Wars Celebration. We thought we were going to be able to review Into the Light next week. It looks like that episode will probably be recorded not next week, but the 5th and the 6th, with potentially releasing that on the 10th. Remember, Into the Light is the last young adult High Republic book, and that is out next Tuesday. So Clay and I will be reading away on that. And hopefully the audiobook comes out next week. But yeah, Star Wars Celebration predictions are next week, and that we don't have a review scheduled for next week. Oh, you know what? We do have the Audible one, the Audible original book.
Yes,
too.
I
So
think
we
that
can do
would be
that
fun.
next week.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And that's what you can expect from us next week. Y'all, remember, we're always here, unless we're not, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Geekverse YouTube channel. And with that, guys, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the Force be with you.